Welcome to the debates.
Today we are opening the ledger on what I think is the future of media production.
Specifically, we're tackling what I call the 500-minute problem. So here's the scenario for a creator in 2026. You're a producer, a subject matter expert, whatever, and you need to produce a standard 10-episode season of a video podcast. Each episode is 50 minutes long. That's 500 minutes of finished 4K content over a 10-week season.
And the core question is really strictly operational and financial. Do you physically go and record this at a facility like Voxel Micro Video Labs, or do you, generate it using the latest 2026 era AI video tools?
I'm taking the position that for this specific long-form workload, the physical studio model, specifically Voxel, is the superior business choice. I mean, it is significantly cheaper, it is radically faster, and it produces a more valuable, legally projected asset.
And I come at it from a different way. I'm arguing that AI video generation represents what I call the director model. It offers a level of control, scalability, and frankly, global reach that a physical room just cannot match. For the modern creator, the digital workflow is really the only way to truly scale without boundaries.
Okay, so let's get right into the numbers, because I think there's a massive misconception in the market that digital automatically means cheaper. If I'm that producer with a 500-minute mandate and I look at the Voxel financial bottom line, the efficiency is just staggering. I can walk into Voxel Micro Video Labs in San Pedro, book their Velocity plan for as little as $30 a session. For a 10-episode season, my total facility cost is $300.
That is the basement price, though.
Right. But even if I go for the top-tier global leader suite, and we're talking the 4-camera setup, the 400-square-foot cinematic look, the podcast table that looks like it belongs on network TV, my total cap for the entire season is roughly $1,400. That's $1,400 for 500 minutes of 4K multi-angle content, where the lighting is already dialed in and the audio is perfect.
Right. But the key metric here is that I'm paying for time in the room. I'm not paying for computed minutes. Whether I talk fast, slow, or, leave a long dramatic pause, the cost is exactly the same. That efficiency is just unbeatable for long form. I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. You're anchoring your whole price comparison to a physical location that requires travel, logistics, and physically being in San Pedro. If we look at the entry-level AI options, the efficiency argument actually swings the other way. If I use an AI avatar platform, something like Vidboard or Synthesia, which are very common in 2026, I can produce that same 10-episode season for anywhere between $250 and $1,065, depending on the fidelity of the avatar.
But at what cost to the viewer's experience?
Let me finish the thought. That price point, $250 for the season, is technically cheaper than your Voxel suite. But the real value isn't just the dollar figure, it's the freedom from logistics. I don't need to drive to San Pedro, I don't need to, groom myself, I don't need to worry about camera angles. I am the technical director. I just feed it the script and the video exists. For a solo creator with a limited budget, saving that travel time and having total control over the output from a laptop, well, that is a form of efficiency that a physical studio cannot compete with.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning, because you're comparing apples to oranges, or maybe more like apples to plastic fruit. You mentioned the $250 price point for avatars. I mean, that gets you a faceless video or a low-fidelity avatar that sits squarely in the uncanny valley. We are talking about 50-minute episodes here. Asking a human being to watch a synthetic avatar nod its head and blink algorithmically for nearly an hour is, well, it's a guaranteed way to kill audience retention.
That is a fair critique of the low end, sure. The talking head avatar definitely has its limits.
So let's talk about the quality that actually competes with a physical studio. If we want cinematic AI, we're talking Google Veo 3, OpenAI Sora, or LTX Studio. We have to look at the per-minute reality. High-end visuals in 2026 cost roughly $30 per minute.
That's a high estimate, though, based on pay-as-you-go.
It's the realistic estimate when you account for computing costs and the iterative process. But let's just do the math. 500 minutes times $30 per minute is $15,000. So to get a product that looks as good as a physical shoot, you are spending $15,000 on AI versus $1,400 at Voxel. That is a 10x cost difference.
Okay, that's a compelling argument. But have you considered the subscription model? You are quoting the raw rendering rate, but platforms like LTIC Studio or ChatGPT Pro with Sora, they offer subscriptions around $200 a month. If I subscribe for the 3 months it takes to produce this season, I'm spending $600, not $15,000.
That is the trap, though. Those subscriptions come with credit limits. Generating 50 minutes of 4K video is incredibly data-heavy. You burn through those monthly credits in the first 2 episodes. And once those credits are exhausted, you're forced into expensive pay-as-you-go overages to finish the season. You end up paying that permanent tax anyway. In a physical studio, the rent is the rent. The camera doesn't charge you for extra pixels because you smiled more.
I think you're underestimating the value of the director model. Yes, high-end AI is expensive if you look at it strictly as minutes generated. But what are you actually buying? You're buying the ability to create a scene that doesn't exist. Maybe my podcast isn't just 2 people talking at a table. Maybe I want to illustrate my point with a generated sequence of a futuristic city or a historical reenactment.
But we're talking about a 50-minute episodic season, 500 minutes of content.
True, but AI allows me to be a technical director. I am not just a speaker. I can control the lighting, the background, the wardrobe, all without buying a single light or hiring a makeup artist. The $15,000 figure you cite assumes I'm just burning money on raw generation. But if I am skilled, if I am a good prompt engineer, I can optimize that. And I can do it without the overhead of a crew.
That brings us perfectly to the next point, the hidden tax of this workflow. You mentioned being a prompt engineer. In 2026, small business owners are suffering from tool fatigue. They don't want another job. They want to speak their mind and get back to business.
And AI lets them do that by removing the need to set up a camera.
Does it? I mean, let's look at the actual workflow. AI video generation is probabilistic, not deterministic. You type a prompt and you basically roll the dice. You might get a great shot, or you might get a hallucination where your hand has 7 fingers, or the physics of the lighting makes no sense.
That is becoming less common with models like VO 3.1. The consistency is improving rapidly.
But it still happens. The industry standard right now for high-quality shots is a 3:1 to 5:1 ratio. That means for every 1 minute of usable video, you are generating 3 to 5 minutes of drafts.
I come at it from a different way. That isn't waste. That is creative iteration. That is the process of refining a vision.
It's time to get your 500 minutes of finished content. You might need to generate 1,500 to 2,500 minutes of video drafts. You're scripting, prompting, waiting for the render, reviewing, seeing a glitch, reprompting, waiting again, and then stitching it all together. You are spending weeks as an editor and animator. This massive volume drives the cost and time up significantly.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that it's waste. That refinement allows for a level of perfection that reality cannot match. In a physical studio, if you stutter, or if the air conditioning hums, or if you just look tired that day, that is baked into the footage. You can't fix it without a reshoot. With AI, I can fix a stutter with a click. I can change the background from a library to a beach without moving. I can make myself look well-rested even if I'm working at 3 a.m. That tax you're talking about is actually the price of perfection.
But for a 500-minute season, we're talking about 40 to 80 hours of user time spent managing these files. Now, contrast that with the Voxel model. It is live to tape. You walk in, the lighting is already set by a professional. You sit down, you record your 50 minutes, you stand up, you leave. The file is done.
Is it really done, though? You still have to edit.
In the Voxel batch production model, the goal is 0 post-production. It's a broadcast mindset. You can record the entire 10-episode season, all 500 minutes, in 2 days. 2 5-hour sessions. That's 10 hours of your life total, versus weeks of prompting and rendering.
You're assuming the person is a perfect speaker who can carry 50 minutes without any editing.
I'm assuming they are a subject matter expert who values their time. The anti-burnout argument here is huge. By episode 6, the AI creator is exhausted from checking renders. The Voxel creator is done with the whole season and already focusing on their clients.
That's a fair point on active time, but we have to talk about the technical bottleneck that you are sort of glossing over. Rendering latency?
Go on.
You mentioned live to tape is instant, but exporting a 50-minute 4K video from a cloud-based AI platform isn't instant. Even in 2026, it typically takes under an hour for a final export of that magnitude.
Right, so you're waiting.
You are waiting, yes. For a 10-episode season, that is about 10 hours of pure machine rendering time for the final files.
Exactly. That is lost time.
And this is key. That is machine time, not human time. I can go have dinner while it renders. I can sleep while it renders. You are counting that 10 hours against the creator, but in reality, the creator is free. When you are in the Voxel studio, you have to be there. You're tethered to the room. AI gives me asynchronous creation. I can generate content while I'm doing something else.
I think that's a bit of a mirage. You aren't just hitting render once. You are rendering drafts, checking previews, re-rendering. That 10 hours of final export time doesn't account for the hours to days spent generating the test clips just to ensure character consistency. You can't just sleep through the creative process. You have to babysit the AI. It requires active management.
It requires management, yes, but it is management from anywhere. And that leads to the biggest limitation of your physical studio model, San Pedro.
What about it?
It is in San Pedro. If I am in London or New York or just stuck in LA traffic, Voxel is inaccessible. AI is omnipresent, but more importantly, AI is global in a way a physical recording never can be.
You mean localization.
Precisely. This is the magic wand feature. If I record physically at Voxel, I have a video in English. If I want to reach a Japanese audience, I need subtitles or a bad dub. With AI video generation, using tools like 11 Labs or the localization features in AI Studios, I can take that same script and instantly generate the video in Japanese, German, Spanish, and 150 other languages.
That is impressive technology, I admit.
It's not just impressive, it's a business multiplier. I can essentially clone my 10-episode season into 10 different markets for a marginal cost. A physical studio simply cannot do that. You are locked into your biological tongue.
However, that versatility comes with a significant trade-off in value. And this brings me to the concept of 2026 brand security.
Brand security?
We are living in an era of infinite content. The internet is flooded with what people are calling AI slop. Search engines like Google and Gemini are aggressively filtering content. They are looking for EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
And you think AI lacks that?
I know it does. An AI avatar has no experience. It has no geographic gravity. When a search engine sees a video filmed in a physical location, a real studio in San Pedro, it registers a human signal. It knows this is a real person in a real place, putting their reputation on the line. That creates search authority.
I see why you think that, but I would frame it differently. Search engines are getting smarter at analyzing the content of the message, not just the pixels. If the script is high quality and the information is valid, the delivery mechanism, whether silicon or carbon, matters less and less.
But what about the asset itself? This is the wealth protection angle. In 2026, the legal consensus is that AI-generated content generally cannot be copyrighted. It's rented land. If you build your entire 10-episode season on AI, you own nothing. Anyone can rip it, repurpose it, and you have little legal recourse.
That is a complex legal area.
It's a business risk. Voxel footage is a proprietary human asset. It is your face, your voice, your recording. If you ever want to sell your business, that media library is an asset with a valuation. A folder full of AI prompts and uncopyrightable video files, that's worth zero on a balance sheet.
I think you are overstating the valuation aspect for a typical podcaster. Most creators want reach, not a media library to sell to a private equity firm. The ability to localize, to scale, to create without a camera crew, that is immediate value. And let's be honest, the human signal you talk about, consumers are getting used to AI. The uncanny valley is closing every single month.
It is closing, but the trust gap is widening. We see liability issues now. If your AI hallucinates a false claim or promises a feature your product doesn't have, you are liable for deceptive marketing.
That's a matter of review.
It's a risk. With Voxel, it is verified human truth. You said it. You are on the record. There is no algorithm putting words in your mouth. For a business owner, that safety is worth the drive to San Pedro.
But is it worth the lack of flexibility? That is what it comes down to.
I think for long-form, 50-minute episodes, flexibility is secondary to reliability and cost. We've crunched the numbers. Voxel is $1,400 max. Cinematic AI is $15,000. Low-end AI is $250, but it alienates your audience.
Well, let's wrap this up because I think we've really found the dividing line here.
I agree.
If I look at the landscape, I still maintain that for short-form content or for creators who need to operate at a massive global scale with localization, AI is the superior choice. It is a tool for the director mindset. Yes, the high-end cinematic route is expensive. $15,000 is a real number, but it allows you to create visuals that are physically impossible to film. And for the low-budget creator, the $250 avatar option, while not perfect, is a way to exist in video format without owning a camera.
That is a fair assessment for short form. But for our specific scenario, the 10-episode, 500-minute season, I have to conclude that Voxel Micro Video Labs is the clear winner in 2026. The financial difference is staggering. $1,400 versus $15,000 for comparable quality. The time difference is even more critical. 2 days of work versus weeks of prompt engineering. And ultimately, you are building a copyrightable, human-connected asset that search engines and humans actually trust.
It really comes down to who you want to be. Do you want to be a prompt engineer, managing technical directors and refining glitches, or do you want to be a speaker who focuses entirely on the message?
Exactly. Do you want to manage the tool, or do you want to be the talent? For long form, I say be the talent.
And for scale, I say master the tool.
That is all the time we have for this session. We hope this helps you navigate the budget and workflow wars of 2026.
Evaluate your time, check your budget, and choose your weapon.
Thanks for listening to The Debate.